Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Appa and today I have my episode 3 of the graduate entry student series that I just started. I'm technically okay, so I'm still in the middle of my semester, but you're probably going to see this much later during the year, probably like the second week of December. I'm actually just waiting for my bus to come. So this video will actually be a two-part video, and I will be gone in like the next 5 minutes or so. I'm sorry, I'm like looking at the time. But basically, you guys, I just moved here to a bigger city in Ohio, and I have had some major adjustments to make. I have been doing a lot of adjustments to the role of nursing and like my first semester, and it has not been easy. Let me just tell you that straight up. But I also want you to keep in mind that I am someone who is coming from a very, very small town, and that has been a really big, part of me adjusting to the city life. And I don't exactly live in the city. I do live in the suburb, but some of the areas around my suburb are not always the safest, so that has been an issue. But overall, and like, I did a whole reflection video on like the safety aspect of things. Sorry, I scratched my nose. In my Thanksgiving video. If you guys, follow me or have seen that video, you probably know what my issues have been. But I just kind of want to say that even though your first semester is tough, it's not the end of the world because it is the first semester. And I'm not doing terrible. I'm not like, we just had an exam yesterday, like, and I just kind of feel like even though I knew the material, I like messed it up in some way or form. I still have like 100 more points in that class, so it's not the end of the world. Like on Monday, I have like a full head to toe physical exam to do, and I'm actually much, much better at doing physical exams that I am with pen and paper, you guys. And I actually am also working a little bit with the counselor to get some accommodations for testing, because testing has always been a big struggle for me. And I didn't necessarily get extra time per se, but like I did have some accommodations at my undergrad where I without any paperwork, but I have to get paperwork for this school, so that's something that I'm working on. And yeah, that's just kind of been my personal issue. Like, it's nothing to do with like, not everyone is gonna have that. Obviously, that's just something that has been like personal. But if you're like a really good test taker, obviously you're gonna find your first semester like super duper easy. For me, like testing was the problem. Like everything else, not really so much. And like clinicals, a little bit. The first half of clinicals, I was a little upset, but the second, I passed it, so I'm like kind of glad that that happened like day before yesterday. But it was like, I just don't see myself like failing clinicals because I feel like that's just my strength. Like I feel like I'm a lot better, like I said, with the physical skills than actually on pen and paper. Honestly, in the long run, the purpose of like these direct entry NP programs, or like even med school, PA school, like you want to be clinicians. Like that's why majority of the people like go into these fields. And yes, like getting there is very, very difficult, and it's a lot of grunt work, and I can tell you it is a lot of grunt work. I will say that because the program I'm in is not a regular nursing program, you guys. It is geared towards like advanced nursing. So some of the classes that we're taking are very, very demanding. And next semester, I know it's going to get a lot busier. And I will talk about my classes a little bit like later on. after the semester ends, but I just wanted to kind of do this like intro video saying that it has been busy, and I will walk you through my semester, obviously in this video. So if you want to like continue on knowing more about my semester with my particular program, you can continue watching it. Hey guys, quick update. So I am done with all of my exams and I'm finally sitting down and filming this video for you guys because this video has been requested for a while. Like, it's just people are like, can you update us on the program and stuff like that. I know someone had already also asked me to do a video on just like my stats, like what I did to get in, my scores, my grades and all that, and I will talk about that in my episode 4, which I believe I can film tomorrow because now that I have more time. But I still have 1 assignment to turn in and 2 more assignments to do and turn in, so just be patient with me, you guys. It's been a hell of a semester and that's why I'm doing this video, because I feel like you guys kind of need to know about this before you actually like start program, because there's no one else. I feel like there's no one else on YouTube doing these videos, and I kind of just applied to these programs on my own. I had no guidance, and I can be that guidance person for you guys, so that's the reason I decided to film this series. So this is, like I said, continuation of episode 3, and you already saw the other part like 2 weeks ago. Well, I filmed it 2 weeks ago, but this whole video is gonna be like combined. It's been a busy semester, you guys. A lot has happened in my personal life, and like also just with this whole situation of like me starting this accelerated program. So one of the big things which I will point out, which I have mentioned in, I believe, my episode 2, was like the whole moving aspect and being open to moving. And this really hit me a lot more towards the end of the semester. Sorry. Because you guys, where I'm living right now is very much out of my comfort zone. This is not the size of city I would normally consider living in. If you know anything about me, I did my undergraduate in biology at a very small school. We literally had 800 people, and I got really accustomed to that. Obviously when you move to grad school, that's not the case. Even though there's like 40 people in my program, the campus is very big. Different departments are located different places. I'm not used to having a whole building for just international students and like walking so much, walking for parking. Basically what I'm trying to say, it's a big city, it's an urban campus. And if you're someone like me who is coming from a small town and are applying to these schools, you might have to get accustomed to it a little bit. And do I see myself living here at all after my training? That's a big no. I don't see myself at all. Actually, once I'm done with my training, from Ohio, I will most likely either move back to Indiana or apply to other states where they have, I wouldn't say small town. When I'm saying small town, I mean like 30 to 40,000 people. I think that's a little too small for me. What I mean to say is I want to live in like a city with the size of maybe like 100,000 to 150. So if you guys are from Midwest or Indiana, my bad, which is where I was living before, South Bend and Fort Wayne, Notre Dame, Mishawaka area is kind of that size. That's my comfort size, you guys. They have an airport, they have mall, they have a couple of different goods stores, every single store, I think, and they have good restaurants, and you get to meet people. It's not like, you do have to go online, but you do get to meet good people. because you know, Notre Dame is a very good school and they're very educated people there. You get to meet good people, and it's, I'm not saying it's impossible here. It's not, because my school is a little bit on the competitive side to get into, and not that that matters. I mean, there's a lot. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of healthcare professionals and stuff. So like, you know, going out, going on dates and stuff like that. Yes, it's possible, but because I don't really want to stay here, I've just kind of been avoiding the whole like dating scene, I guess. And I'm also like a, you know, I'm also a strong Christian, and I have certain beliefs with dating and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna date without a purpose of marriage. So yeah, I just like, I don't see myself living here. I don't see myself like starting a family here, which I know some of you guys are probably thinking like, why is she thinking that far along? But you guys, I am 24 years old. I will be 25 this coming September next year. You know, and I've been single for a while, and a goal of mine has been to get married after grad school. So I don't see myself doing that in this area, at least. And even if I do meet someone, like, I probably will ask them if they can move to a different state with me. So that's that. A little out of my comfort zone. My car was also stolen. So I have mentioned in my other videos that safety is a problem in Cleveland. Like, it's a big time problem. It's also a problem in Detroit. But it's not as bad as Detroit, but it's fairly bad here. When I told people that I was moving here, like, a lot of people were like, what? Like, are you crazy? I can totally see what they mean by that. And now that I've been here like 5 months, am I gonna transfer schools? No. Am I gonna move out of this place once I'm done with school? Most likely, yes. The MSN portion of this program, I can actually do it in a different state. I have been considering that, but do I really want to commute to take my exams at the end of the semester? I really don't know. So I most likely will stick it out for the next 3 years, even though it's like not the most my favorite place, I guess, to live in. So that is something I just wanted to put out there. So please be open and mindful to the fact that you guys might end up in schools where you might hate the location, because I kind of do not like it here. So that's been my thing. Other than that, you guys, just getting accustomed to an urban campus was a little tough, because like I said, I went to undergrad with 800 people, and literally I used to live right by the science building, which is where I would have all of my classes. I could like wake up at 7:45 if I was like late for my chem class, and just leave in like 5 minutes and be there on the first floor. Like, literally, it was so easy and convenient and very safe. I could like roam around the campus at like middle of the night. Nothing would happen. We only had like one case of crime in like the past 7 or 8 years or something like that. It was just, it's a really small town. It's like, you know, I'm used to driving behind Amish people. Like, you get what I mean? Anyways, so getting used to an urban campus, everything is very fast. Getting used to like the whole, you know, so I used to drive to school, and then I stopped doing that because there's literally public transport everywhere. So like, that's a really good thing. So I started taking the public bus to the school instead of like driving, because that was, getting a public bus pass as a student was a lot cheaper than paying for parking. Parking was $350 or something crazy like that, and it would take me so long to walk from the parking lot to the actual school of nursing. And then I was just like, this is pathetic, I just can't do it. And then I asked someone who did their undergrad here and are in my program, and they're like, oh yeah, you can get an RTA pass or whatever for like $75 per semester, and I'm like, seriously? Then I just ended up returning my parking pass and just getting the the bus pass. And that's probably what happened, is that the people who stole my car noticed that my car was like, I was not using it because I would just take this bus to school, and they just broke into it. Plus, it was a car which you could easily like break into, like it was a mini country van, and it didn't have like any detectors or anything. So a lot of people, from what the cops told me, like a lot of people try to steal cars like that because of the parts, like the parts they can be sold, and also just in general, like they're easy to break into. Okay, so that was that. You guys, a lot of people in my program were very, very experienced. Oh man, so much experience. And I was like, wow, this is wonderful. Like, this is crazy because it's wonderful and it's crazy at the same time, because I only worked in a dietitian's office for like 1 year, and that was pretty much it, you guys. I didn't necessarily do like clinical things where I was being invasive or like being very close to a patient. I didn't ever do that, and I couldn't necessarily do that because of my like my residency status. Like, I'm here on a student visa, and you can't just go out and do things like that. Like, you have to have some sort of like work permit or something in order to do something like that. So that was very interesting. There is a wide variety of age group in my program. A lot of people, there are some much older people. Like, there are some people who are in their 50s, 40s, 30s, but 50% is like fresh, well, not fresh, but like college graduates who've had some work experience or have done a lot of like bedside experience of some sort. So like I said, I didn't have this experience. So the first semester with my clinicals, I did struggle a little bit because literally, you guys, I don't know what the heck our professors were thinking, or like the whoever places us for clinicals. They said they did it all at random, but I guess this is how probability works, or randomness works. And I got placed in a clinical group where every single person has had bedside experience, and I didn't know anything. And I was like, wow, why are you doing this to me, God? So I felt really incompetent the first, until midterm. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like these kids, like these people, not kids, they all know everything, and I feel like I don't. And I told that to my clinical instructor. It didn't really kind of just help me to be in a group like this. And then eventually, like, now that it's been like 4 months of this, like I've gotten more accustomed to it. So I'm glad. I've learned a lot, and I've done invasive things. The most invasive thing that I've done is like take out a Foley catheter. But technically, I'm supposed to start IVs. Like, I should be able to start IVs, but our not our clinical instructor, but our lecture instructor, she doesn't want us to do that until the next semester, which makes sense because our class is kind of running behind, you guys. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, in most accelerated programs, I feel like you would start that, but our class is running behind because we're taking a bunch of different types of classes. So that was intro to nursing. I passed it, and I have a good grade in it, so I'm not too worried about it. And the second thing was health assessment. Oh my gosh, this class like shook everyone in my program, you guys. Like, I don't know what it was, but I thought I was going to med school. I really just, the detail amount that we learned in that class was just kind of crazy. And I'm like, and I'm talking like, okay, so I also like, okay, so we have this thing where we have to meet like medical students and other healthcare professionals. And I was talking to them about it, and even they like didn't know, and they told me that they learned these health assessment skills when they are like second or third years. And I was like, holy crap, they're really making us jump here. So basically, this is technically not an advanced. They don't call it an advanced health assessment, but we're using the same textbook as an advanced health assessment. We just don't diagnose. Like, we learn what is normal, what's not normal, but we don't diagnose yet. So it's definitely not a basic health assessment class, I can tell you, because in a basic health assessment class, you're never going to go through a full-on neuro exam. We did a full-on neuro exam. We also did a full-on musculoskeletal exam. So a full head to toe, with the exception of not doing a breast exam and not doing a testicular exam and that stuff. One of the reasons as to why they didn't want us to do this is because we're not diagnosing yet. But they still covered these chapters in our lecture, saying that you need to know what the abnormal is, what is not abnormal, but you can't necessarily diagnose yet, which makes sense because obviously we're working on getting our RN license first. But honestly, I learned how to percuss. I learned how to like do the scratch test. I learned how to look for pneumonia and signs of pneumonia, all of that. Something that and tactile fremitus, and like a lot of details. Like, I can do this class deserves a whole another video, you guys, but I can do a whole another video on that. And one of the interesting things that I noticed is that one of the PA students that I was talking to, they are learning that stuff too, but they are learning how to diagnose as well. That was the only difference, and I just thought this was interesting. Like, it just didn't seem like a basic health assessment class to me, because like I said, we went through the whole body system. The only difference is like you can't diagnose yet. So that was and it's the same textbook that I think we're gonna use in the future too. So it's like like our health like our lab instructor told us, oh yeah, all of my NP students, they use the same textbook as well. And I was like, okay, makes a little bit sense that we're in an accelerated program. So that was that. And obviously, health assessment is something I really, really enjoyed. I also enjoyed pharmacology. Pharmacology, again, was a teeny tiny bit more detailed than what it normally is supposed to be, from what I have been told. And again, the reason was they want us to prepare for advanced practice like right away, right once we're done with this portion of the program. So that was also advanced. It was so health assessment and pharmacology were my two most difficult classes. And I didn't get all A's in them, but I got high B's, so I'm still pretty happy with that. Okay, another thing is people in the program are gonna freak out over grades. And you guys, grades don't mean everything, and let me just straight up say that, because a 4.0 is not gonna make you a good clinician. I'm just putting it out there, because I'm just tired of people, like, especially in my program, and maybe this is not just in my program, it's like in other programs too. They just like freak out, and they're just like stressing everyone else out, and just also like asking unnecessary questions in class. And I'm just like, we're all grad students. Hey, like, we all like made it through this interview process. We're all here. We're all intelligent. So just stop making it seem like everyone else is inferior to you. Like, it's so annoying, so immature. You're still gonna meet those people, and let me tell you guys, like, those people do struggle in clinicals like a lot. Like, I said that I struggled in clinicals, but like Yeah, it was more to do with the idea of like everyone is competent and I feel like I have so much learning to do. But these other people like who are so obsessed with grades, like they literally freeze in a patient's room. I don't have that problem. You know what I mean? So you're gonna meet those people. It's just kind of irritating, and honestly, I don't even like I used to socialize with some of them and I kind of just stopped because it was just overwhelming and I was like, I don't need this. Like I'm already stressed with the program. I do not need to take your stress on me too. So I just kind of, took myself out of that whole situation and kind of just focused on myself. So yeah, other than my car getting stolen and these classes and everything, I can say that it was tough. It was tough, but it's not like not doable. Like you obviously have to, set priorities with everything, like what your priorities are. You guys, like for me, like right now with me not, dating or being married or anything or any of that, my only priority is to get this degree, and I keep reminding myself that. And every time when I'm having like second thoughts, every time when I'm like stressed and feeling lonely and stuff like that, I'm always like, God is looking out for me, and my family has been so supportive. Oh my gosh, like even though they're across the world, they have been, I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional, they have been very supportive. And you guys, this is a long journey. It's tough. It's a lot of grunt work, but it's not doable if you guys, prioritize your time and everything, and you can do it. Like you can definitely do it. And yeah, like another thing which I kind of want to mention, which I should have mentioned earlier, is test taking. That is something that I have personally struggled, especially with this program, because I'm not used to seeing questions like that. Every single thing is multiple choice. I'm not always used to doing multiple choice questions. So I would highly recommend that you start getting used to like the NCLEX prep type questions. In the beginning of the video, I kind of mentioned that I wanted to I have some other assignments to do, and those are like NCLEX prep questions because they're really pushing you. You will not be pushed this hard if you were not going into advanced practice with these programs, but just because this is an accelerated advanced practice program, that's why I'm being pushed so much. And like I mentioned, some of the other reasons being like a hidden Ivy League type of school. So please just don't like get disappointed, like with what others are doing. Honestly, I am so thankful for YouTube as a platform for me to like grow and like also like help you guys out there who are watching my videos. Especially like, yeah, I talk about makeup and stuff, but like I also want to focus on this nursing thing because I feel like it's just so important for me to do this, like helping others and also giving you like details about like what is expected and what you should look out for. And one of the things I want to say is that I've met a lot of people in this program who are not necessarily here for the right reasons either. And you will meet those types of people everywhere, but I don't want you guys to think that that's how the whole profession is. Like some people really truly care. I am one of those people who truly actually cares about my patients, and I care about being here. There's some people, you guys, they're so disrespectful to like the instructor. Like they'll be on their phones and I'm like, how did you get into this program? Why are you even here? And they have no passion whatsoever. They just want to make 100K and that's it. Like that's not really who I am. And I've realized that definitely this semester. Yes, with like me becoming an FNP, like I have further goals. I really want to work with ER patients, and I want to work with poor people, and I have further goals. Like, it's not just about money for me. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to say to people, because I feel like there are some people who just like don't care. Like, you don't care about this program, and they're just here for the wrong reasons. And another thing which I do want to point out is that you will have second thoughts, a lot of second thoughts. Well, I had some second thoughts, but because majority of us are coming from different career paths, like, you might have some second thoughts in this program. You might say, what the heck, I was making good amount of money, and like I had a decent career, and now I'm like starting from nothing. You might have second thoughts like that. There are some people who have been in my program and have realized that, this is like not for them, and they would rather apply to med school. That is a possibility. So just like, anything can change, anything can happen. So just like being open, and just being open to the possibilities with your future, like in general, not just in nursing, but like in other things. Obviously, if this is not for you, then just don't do it. Like, there are some people in my program. Oh my gosh, I was so shocked when they said this. So there was one person who actually did 2 years of medical school, and I don't know what the reason for them was to drop out, but that happened, and they're in this program. And I feel like people like that, a lot of them have like skills which I have not yet learned, so they're a little bit like ahead of me. But just saying, like, don't let that get to you. You're here for you're here to get your degree, and then you'll go get a job, or who knows, continue further on education, whatever your goals are. So I hope this video was somewhat helpful, you guys. Another thing which I do want to point out is that you're always going to be in these programs. You got to keep your mindset to understanding the bedside role as well, because even if that's not your long-term goal, you're still a nurse before you are a nurse practitioner. You should appreciate learning the skills that they do at the bedside, because let's say in an emergency situation, you're the provider, nurse is not there, but you have to make the quick judgment, and you have to be able to do those skills. You know what I mean? So just appreciating the fact that, you're gonna learn these bedside skills, and you might not always use it, and that would annoy some people. Were complaining about that they don't want to do the bedside stuff and things like that. And I'm like, well, everyone has to learn it. And if this is not for you, you can always like apply it to something else. You know what I mean? Everyone has to go through nursing school in order to become an NP and become nurse practitioners. I mean, they have done years and years of experience as RNs before they even go into such programs. So just even be thankful that these programs are not even like making you or forcing you to do that. And systems have changed, education systems have changed. So like being appreciative of that and actually learning these skills. You don't have to master them, but you still have to learn them. I see a cop car like right outside. So cops have been watching this area because like I told you, my car got stolen, but I don't know. I see him like every day these days. I think it's the detective that I talked to, but anyways, so that was my first semester of grad school, you guys. I'm done. I'm so glad that I'm done. Please keep your eyes out for episode 4. So thank you so much for watching, and talk to you guys later. Bye.